Okay, here's my disclaimer. I am a qualified builder with 25 years experience. Where I come from, they call me Chocolate Chippie. This is not financial or real estate advice. All info is public and for my personal use only. Always seek professional advice before making decisions. Here we go. So, on the news I seen today, it says in Lismore, New South Wales, homeless residents have set up camp outside their local MP's office. They demand permanent housing instead of short-term hotel stays, but the reality is more complex than headlines suggest. So if we dive into the facts behind the vacant homes in Lismore, over 440 homes brought back after the catastrophic 2022 floods. I'm sure everyone's seen all that all over the news. It was devastating. All located in high-risk flood zones. The goal is to remove residents from danger. Some houses look livable but are unsafe long-term. And the New South Wales court ruled in favour of the New South Wales government after squatters occupied these properties. You probably think, why not just move people back in? So the risk isn't the building, it's the location, and it's right by the river. So many homes are being auctioned for relocation. Buyers must move them within 12 months. However, the campers, they also called for rent caps, and that's where today's focus is. What do global rent cap experiments teach us? So let's dive into what the US experience shows us. So we have California. Rent increases were capped at 5% plus inflation. Investors didn't like the limits, so they moved their money to other states. In New York City, some rent-controlled apartments were left empty. Why? Because owners couldn't afford to fix them up. The rent was too low to cover renovation costs. And then we have Oregon. The whole state capped rent increases, but they didn't offer enough incentives to build new homes, so supply slowed down. San Francisco, rent control made landlords pull homes off the rental market. Result, 15% fewer rentals and rents went up in places without rent control. Massachusetts, they got rid of rent control that led to more rental homes being built and property values going up. If there was a lesson for Australia to learn, it would be rent caps alone don't fix the problem. If you don't also build more homes, you end up with fewer places to rent, higher prices in the long run, less investment in housing. Then we have Ireland. Dibbly potatoes. In 2016, they capped rent increases at 4% per year. In 2021, they tightened it even more, down to 2% per year. What happened next? Investment in housing collapsed. Developers and investors pulled back. It wasn't profitable enough to build. In just 1 year, investment dropped from £1.9 billion to £440 million. It's roughly about 3 billion Australian to just 700 million Australian dollars. So fewer homes were built because of this, less money flowing in, construction slowed. The housing shortage got worse. What can Australia learn? Rent caps without building more homes can backfire. They might help renters short term, but if developers stop building, you end up with less housing overall. That creates scarcity, and scarcity drives prices up, not down. So now we look at Vienna and what they do. So most rentals are regulated. About 2/3 of all rental homes are under government rules. That means rent prices don't swing wildly with the market, so rents rise slowly. Rent increases are tied to inflation, not to demand or bidding wars, so prices stay predictable and fair. The public housing is treated like infrastructure in Vienna. Vienna builds and maintains public housing the same way it treats roads, schools or hospitals, as essential services. But this has been happening for decades across different governments. So what that means is no matter who's in power, they keep that policy. Why it works. So long-time commitment, Vienna didn't just tweak a few rules, they built a whole system over generations. Stable rents, people aren't priced out of their homes. Strong supply, because the government keeps building, there's always housing available. What can Australia learn? This model can't be copied overnight, right? To make it work here, we need decades of consistent investment in public housing, bipartisan support no matter which party is in power, a shift in mindset, treat housing like infrastructure, just not like a commodity. So then we look into British Columbia and what they do with rent caps. Landlords can only raise rent by 3% per year. If they make big upgrades like renovating or improving energy efficiency, they can apply to raise rent a bit more. The government invests heavily in community housing, including public and non-profit options. They also change zoning laws to make it easier to build homes in more places. Developers still build because the system supports construction and offers incentive. Developers didn't pull out, they kept building. Why it works? Rent caps protect tenants, keeping prices stable. But supply keeps growing, so there's no housing shortage. It's a balanced approach, protect renters and encourage builders. What can Australia learn? This model shows that rent caps can work, but only if you keep building homes constantly. You offer incentives for developers, you reform zoning laws to unlock land. You commit to long-term public housing investment, not just short-term fixes. The other problem we have in Australia is NIMBYs, right? Not in my backyard. So overseas, as you can see, it works in some places and it doesn't work in others. So the Idunn model that I'm working on, we buy established dwellings. We're not in competition with any new builds or first home buyers or construction companies. We buy the houses outright, so that means no mortgage. So it's full ownership, and then we cap the rent at 30% of household income. And homes are maintained for long-term, stable use. Right? We target essential workers and first responders to strengthen communities. The Lismore protest is a reminder of the urgency of the housing crisis, but it's also proof that quick fixes won't last. We need permanent, safe, and affordable homes. That's what Idunn delivers. So follow the journey, share the spark. You know we're always looking for board members. So come, join us. Let's build this together. If you're asking why am I doing this, it's because I'm no ordinary man. Thank you for the likes and thank you for your time. You know how we close this?